Quinn Buckner, Pacers TV color analyst, former NBA player, joining us on the program. Buck, good to see you. How would you describe the atmosphere last night?
Very much, I wouldn't say chaotic. It was fun. It really is exciting. Basketball is a big part of what the state of Indiana is about. It's in the ethos of all of the fans. And so to see the Pacers at this stage, I mean, as you know, and those that watch, Reggie's there, Jermaine O'Neal is there, Lance is there. I mean, you've got a number of the guys. Danny Granger, who had not been back, came to the game, and excuse me, and Triple H. I'm not into wrestling, but that's a big deal for Reggie. I'm not so Reggie, but for Tyrese, because Tyrese is a big wrestling fan. So you got all of that going, and then John Mellencamp. It was a lot of fun, just a lot of fun.
What's more iconic, Reggie's choke to Spike Lee or Tyrese Haliburton recreating
The,
that choke?
Well, the fact that he recreated it is pretty creative on his part, but well, it's not creative, but it's something that he wanted to do. But I have to say, Reggie's is by far the most iconic. I don't think there's any question about it. First of all, that's 8.9 seconds. That's a huge difference when you look at it. Even though Tyrese got it going, could have moved that foot back and make the shot, but I tell you what, this kid he's not a kid. He's a young man, but he really gets what winning basketball is about. And it's important for him to share it with his teammates. And that's one of the reasons why this team can run, because guys will run if you know you're going to get the ball. And he will throw the ball to you, and he does it very uniquely. He even admitted he's one of the few guys in the league that does a lot of jump passes, which for many of the older generation understand that was something that was taboo. But he has the ability to find a pathway to deliver his teammates the ball. And equally important, his teammates understand if he gets in the air, you got to get open because you don't want him to travel with it. So they make an effort to give him the space. And then from there, it's knocking down the shot.
He's got swagger, but he's likable. Like he doesn't have that, where you don't like him because he's so cocky.
Excuse me. Typical of you. That's a great observation. You're very observant. Yeah, he really does, and that's why he can play with his teammates, and they're not jealous because he's not trying to take the limelight and carry it for himself. It really is his pride in how he plays and plays for his team and plays for the guys. He's big on his guys. As a human being, when you're around him, he lights up a room. He wants to make sure everybody is comfortable. All of those kind of things that you like about human being. He makes sure he engages you, everybody, and I mean top to bottom. Pardon me, including those, if you will, because I've always watched guys to try to see how they treat, if you will, the back office, the back room. How do you treat people there? This guy is the same with everyone. And when he gets on the court, guys are happy to understand he's just a really good guy that just happens to be one heck of a basketball player.
Can the Knicks come back?
Can is a word that you can use at any time. I think the Pacers are hard for the Knicks to play against because the Knicks are more of a slower, they're a slower paced team, which is typical. This is what's unusual about this to me, and maybe you because you watch the sports, many sports, but this one, the game typically slows down in the playoffs, and the further you go, as I was fortunate enough to do with the Celtics and others, the further you go up that ladder, the more it slows down. The Pacers have managed to maintain their pace for the most part. The game they lost the pace at the end of, I think it was the first half and the beginning of the third quarter, and it caused them a problem. With this kind of pace, it's going to make it very, very difficult. But can is a word, but I don't know. It's going to be really tough.
He's Quinn Buckner, the Pacers TV color analyst. You were prominently featured in the Celtics documentary. A couple of stories stood out. When your wife wanted to know how confident Larry was going into the Game 7 in 1984?
Yeah, she was very concerned about that. And Larry, we're going to win. And Larry just gets out of the car like we all do, get out of the car. Yeah, and just keeps walking. I mean, he did. He just kept walking. And my wife, I think, felt better about the whole situation. But that is Larry yesterday, today, and tomorrow. He is the ultimate confident guy. But Larry looks at it, he's just playing a basketball game. He never looked at it like he knows it's the seventh game, but he just does that. But he also had that ability to, I think, maintain that presence, that confidence because he knows it helps his teammates.
Also, you were there in New Orleans when Larry went off against the Hawks, and
Ooh.
the, the
To Dan, it was one of the most. I've been blessed to be around this sport for many years, and I'm going to say more than 4 decades. I have never seen anything like it. It was one of the great performances. I don't go to plays or anything like that, but he did it. He did it simply. And when I see Dominique over there and the guys on the bench giving each other five because he's taking a shot he's got no business taking, he's got guys draped on him, and he makes it and just runs down like he's breathing. He's just breathing. It's just the next shot. But the proverbial zone, he was there. And, the blessing for me, quite frankly, and I'm a little selfish in this thought, is I was there to witness it. But I'm telling you, it was one of the great performances I have ever seen. And I happen to be blessed enough to be around the Bulls in the 90s. But this was something that was just unbelievable.
But you played with Larry. You're good friends with Michael Jordan. Can you compare and contrast their competitiveness?
Oh, they were equally competitive. I don't know if you can really say one is more competitive than the other. I only think about when people ask that question, and they don't often because I don't really delve into it. Larry, and for those of you who are religious, don't take this the wrong way. Michael got 63 on the Bulls. I mean, on the Celtics in the playoffs. And Larry had somebody asked him about Michael Jordan. He said, "Well, Michael Jordan's a basketball player." It's like he basically said he was God. Larry had never seen anything like this. Um, Larry enjoys winning. They both are very, very. They're smart as all get out. They read people at a high level. Um, but getting those two and this is one of those to death kind of things. You get those two against each other, it's to the death of both of them, not one of them, to both of them, because that's how competitive they are.
Today's NBA, if you could tweak, I'll let you be commissioner for a day. You can tweak one thing or change one thing. What would you do?
um that's a interesting question. I'm not sure I would. I played in an era that was much more physical. These guys are supremely more talented than those generations in the 80s and the 90s. The 3-point shooting, I think, is going to it will taper to the degree that you have more capable players shooting. Some teams have guys shoot the ball. Some people have shooters and some people have makers. Okay, there'll be less people shooting the ball that can't make it, and I think that will make the game probably even more interesting. But I just like the evolution of the game and how it's grown. Dan, I did not take to it, quite frankly, when it first happened. Dick Vitale, the great Dick Vitale. I think you work with him, so you know Dick. He was on this from the very beginning and thought it would change the game. I think it's more exciting for fans. I think the players are much more excited about it and like to do it. But there's some guys, you want to just shoot it because they're not going to make it. So there's not anything necessarily that I would change from the game. I'm sure Adam and his crew is spending many hours on that. I don't.
Anybody compare to Steph Curry that you saw
No,
prior to?
no,
No?
no,
Okay.
no, no. And I got to give Mark Jackson credit. I remember him saying this. Mark played for the Pacers, for those of you who don't know, and was a great guard from New York. He said when he got him, he said, these are the two best shooting guards maybe in the history of basketball. Steph is so unusual because Steph can get his, and he is never. He's in terrific shape, which I think is a factor, quite frankly, as we talk about New York and the Pacers. Clay can't get it, but if he get it, he's going to make it. He played against the Pacers one game, and I'm not proud of this, and I don't think anybody in the organization is. He got 60 points in 29 minutes on 11 dribbles. And it was an unbelievable performance. Now Steph's going to take more dribbles than that, but he's capable of doing that at that time on any given night. Obviously, as you move into your 30s, you're not. There's nobody that ever compared to what Steph does because most guys were shooters in earlier times, but they didn't have the ball handling skills quite as effective as he does.
There's going to come a day where Larry Bird's not one of the top 10 players of all time. You agree?
I don't know about that. I don't know about that one, Dan. I am telling you, Larry is there's a uniqueness about him. But I tell you who is comparable, and Larry has said there's only one guy he watches play. It's Jokic. And if you look at him, the difference is Jokic is longer, but that's about it. And longer, and that's not about it. He's taller. They play, and whatever talent they have on their team, those guys play at a higher level for having played with Larry. I knew it because I did, and I watched Jokic do that. But getting Larry out of the top 10, no, you're not gonna. I may be biased, but I don't think so. I just think if you look at pure basketball players, Larry Bird is as pure basketball player as you're ever going to find. Nothing he could not do. Can't jump, can't run, beat you, get you triple double, the whole 9 yards. No, Larry's staying in the top 10.
If it ends up Pacers and OKC, how does Indiana win?
The bench has got to be really good because OKC plays 10 to 11 players, and they all contribute. And this is what I think is for me, what I enjoy watching in terms of the coaching. Rick has done a terrific job, and you can go, 9, he has gone 10, and you get some really good performance. OKC has 11 guys that they may throw out there. Everybody may have a specialty, but they star in their roles. The others have to star in their roles on the Pacers. I think Matherin's consistency off the bench, he had 20 last night, but he struggled for the previous games. That's got to have some consistency, 15 to 18 points a game. And you're going to have to get a lot more out of Toppin. All of that because OKC can score the ball, but they're the best defensive. They may be the best defensive team. Well, I think left. They really challenge you, and they can run with you and get back in transition. It would be a very difficult series.
Thanks for holding up your golf game. I'm sure you're headed to the golf course. Right? Right?
You called it. All right.
Okay.
I appreciate it very much. Always good to talk to you.
Thank you, Buck. That's Quinn Buckner, Pacers TV color analyst, former NBA player. We'll take a break. We got an NBA quiz coming up. Also, another NFL game coming up to play. We're back after this. Dan Patrick Show.